All right, hello and welcome. Brett here with clickmail.co. In this video, I'm going to share my screen with you and we're going to get into SEO for blog articles and how to rank your blog or your article at the top of Google and other search engines. Now, we are going to talk specifically about Google, but most search engines work the same way. Now, when you're trying to rank your blog article on Google and other search engines, you have to realize you're talking to two audiences. The search engine optimization is you in your article talking to Google. And then when you format the article and you do different spacing and bolding and like different things like that, you're talking to people and you're helping them navigate the blog more easily. So we're going to start with talking to Google. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the title and some titling recommendations to use. Okay, now, firstly, let's get into titling. In this article we're using as an example, this is an article that ranks really well for us here at ClickMail. Okay, 14 shocking church growth scriptures that will jumpstart your ministry. So when we're talking about title, the main thing that you want to know in your header one title, and this should be your header one title on the page, is that, and you'll see right here, we have header one selected for the title. So header one is the most important header. And when Google's little spider bots go through the page, they comb the code. They don't read the front end, they read the code end. And when they see in the code that it's an H1 tag, they're going to say, whatever that says is the most important thing on the page. And they're going to weight the score of that much more heavily than, say, a heading 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or in this case here, normal text. So we want to make sure our keyword is in the header one. Now, the next most important is other headers like header 2. So later, we'll want to make sure we've got keywords in those. Now, church growth scriptures is the keyword, so we can see this is right in the header. Okay, so now another thing that you can do to try to optimize for this even more is to take the keyword and find a way to front load the keyword and put it over here. So we might say something like this: church growth scriptures, 14 shocking scriptures that will jumpstart your ministry. You could do it like this too. And some search engines like YouTube or even like Udemy, for those of you who are familiar with the course platform Udemy, they will actually give you an extra bump for front loading keywords. Okay, now that can be the case on YouTube, or excuse me, on Google, but it's not always the case. So we can front load the keyword, but we definitely want to make sure it's in there. Now, something that also works occasionally is to actually have the keyword in there 2 times as long as it makes sense. So with church growth scriptures, we might front load that and say church growth scriptures, 14 shocking church growth scriptures that will jumpstart your ministry. And as long as this is under the word count, under the character count, which we'll get to in a second here, then you're fine. And as long as it doesn't obviously look like you're trying to cram in a bunch of keywords just because, it's got to make sense. So that's the next thing. You could use it or a variation of it multiple times. So that could happen. I wouldn't probably do more than 2 though, because it does look fishy after that. Now we do need to update this to 2024. We want to make sure that's up to date. Okay, coming back around. Lastly, what was I going to say? Oh, character count. So the character count, we probably want under about 60. Now you want to look this up and make sure this is up to date for the Google search engine, because occasionally they'll vary it. But generally, I believe right now, 60 characters is as long of a title that can show up on mobile. So if you've got a longer than 60 character title on mobile, it's going to get cut off halfway and people aren't going to be able to see what that is. And so now we're talking a little bit about optimizing the title for what is called the meta title, which is the Google facing title. But we're going to come to tools, we're going to come to word count, and we'll see we've got 77 characters. So this might be a little bit long for mobile. And that's something we can check on the back end of the website when we get in there and we get into more specifics. Maybe I look it up and I double check. So these are some things you want to know for SEO titling to speak to Google. Now, we're going to talk more later about titling for people to get them to engage with the title. But for now, we want the keyword in here. maybe we front load it, maybe we use it a second time, and we want to make sure that title fits within whatever it is that search engines can actually show when people look it up. With that, thanks so much for being here. In the next video, we're going to get into placing keywords in the beginning of the article. We'll see you there.